About the writing rules of simplified technical English. Rules regulate the choice and use of words, building phrases and sentences, the use of articles, the verb tenses that can be used, and to some extent the punctuation. Some of the rules are specific to procedural or to descriptive text, and part of the rules is generally known to professional communicators, but the overall set is in general rather nicely balanced while going beyond most corporate and general style guides. Some examples of rules are to keep procedural sentences short as possible, up to a maximum of 20 words. In an instruction, write the verb in the imperative form or the command form. To keep sentences in descriptive writing as short as possible and up to a maximum of 25 words. And last but not least, to start a warning or a caution with a simple and clear command. Each rule in simplified technical English often comes with a lengthy explanation, and if I could only pick one rule that has a lot of positive impact on readability and reuse, that would be Rule 1.1, which basically tells us that we can only use approved words. Yes, that's right, every single word we use has to be approved, and that these words can come from three sources. The first being the general approved vocabulary that is listed in the specification, technical names that are unique to your organization and or to your project, as well as technical verbs. The latter two are determined by the user based on your industry, your company, and product. Now, speaking of vocabulary and terminology in the above, we make that distinction between vocabulary and terminology. Vocabulary basically is comprised of words that are common to technical documentation, regardless of industry. Terminology comprises of words that may be different depending on the industry, company, product, and customer. For both categories of words, it is important that there should only be one word for every concept, and ideally, all words should have only one meaning, or at least one approved meaning only. So, this basically means we aim for consistency while minimizing ambiguity. One of rather few industry specific words in the STE general vocabulary is the word aircraft. So, like all words in the general vocabulary, it comes with a definition, in this case, a vehicle for movement through the air. This may seem obvious, but it thus actually clarifies that a helicopter, also known as a rotary wing aircraft, or for that matter, a hot air balloon, also is an aircraft. On the other hand, the word engine is not part of the general vocabulary. That seems strange, as most aircraft need one or more of them. However, depending on the type of engine, the type of document, and the audience, we may want to use different terms such as turbine, jet engine, power plant, or the word could have different translations. So think different translations for a car engine versus an aircraft engine, such as German Motor versus Triebwerk. For other industries, the English word battery poses similar challenges depending on whether or not it is rechargeable and whether it is in a car or a phone. In Finnish, this is reflected in the word aku versus paristo, and a good example of a word with multiple meanings is the word terminal, which already only as a noun includes other different meanings as such as connector, computer workstation, and airport building. So if you've ever used Google Translate or similar, you probably found that these totally different meanings can cause confusion. And this certainly is the case when you deal with an audience that may have limited English skills. To make matters worse, terminal could also be an adjective with a completely different meaning. Largely because of the reasons cited above, plus the fact that different companies or even divisions within a company have their own terminology. Aerospace ASD or ECMA, at the time ECMA, decided not to adopt the suggestion by McDonnell Douglas some 32 years ago to include thousands of supposedly common aeronautical terms into the general vocabulary. Instead, it was decided to provide guidelines on acceptable terminology. So, a detailed discussion of all criteria for a suitable term or technical name, short form TN, is beyond the scope of this article. So, let's consider the main criteria. A technical name or technical noun is a noun or an adjective. A technical name should be unique, and there is no other approved word with the same meaning. The technical name should also be non-ambiguous, and it should only have one approved meaning. In addition, we still want to steer clear of artificial and empty words. That is, we should only use words that have a concrete technical or scientific meaning or otherwise indispensable for technical documentation. Marketing words are a good example of words that we will want to avoid. Simplified technical English will not tell us if indicator light is a better term than annunciator light, pilot light, status indicator, or indication light. However, consistency is one of the main pillars of simplified technical English writing. So once we select a word for a specific part or concept, we should use the same word time and time over again. There is another category of industry-specific terms known as technical verbs, but their number will normally be very limited, and discussing them in depth is beyond the scope of this presentation.